I've had to actually whatchamacallit, I've had to actually uninstall it and reinstall it.
No, I've had no issues with Discord.
Okay, yeah, because I last three times I've started it up, I'm like double click, nothing shows up. So I've had to
Hmm,
uninstall it, get the thingo. I
that's a bit odd.
was gonna say today is sponsored by Tradie.
Like tradie, what the underwear company?
I don't know. It's super crisp lager. No, I went to get a coffee today, and then I was like, I better pick up some beers.
Hmm.
And this guy was in there at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So like it already feels dodgy buying beers at 10 o'clock at night in the morning. So I'm like, whatever. And he's like, oh, did you want to try some beer? I'm like, it's 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Not really. And he's just like, oh, he goes, it's zero sugar, zero carb, and it's only 76 calories per beer.
Yeah.
And it's also technically a mid-strength beer, which means one can is one standard drink.
Okay. All right. So you got two. Jesus, you
And
are rocking today. You are rocking today.
so rather than having, well, to be fair though, you know that giant Sapporo one that I normally bring in?
Yes.
That's like 2.3 standard drinks.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know that one. Yeah, it's actually a nice beer. That one. It's very
Yeah, it's
nice.
gorgeous.
But yes.
So I have no idea how this tastes like, but I was like, yep. And then it was $15 for a six pack.
Ooh, that seems very. Oh, but then again, it's a
Yeah.
brand new beer to market, so yeah, that's not shocking, sort of thing. But anyway, tastes good.
Just a good honest lager.
Crisp. Is it crisp?
Yeah.
Shall we say crisp?
Some might even say super crisp, as the label pronounces. I also
Super
did
crisp.
something quite dumb where I
Yeah.
spent a little bit of money on something that was stupid.
Oh God, what?
Cherish hates it. I'm kind
Oh
of in
God,
love
it's
with
got to be good then.
it. And the worst thing is, right, so I sent a photo of this to one of my friends in Canada.
Mm.
Shout out to Elena if she's listening. Um, yeah, and she was like, I don't actually know what it is. And I
Okay.
was like, what? And I told her, she's like, yeah, we don't get that here. So now I'm scared that you may not understand it, but you have been to Australia, so you might.
Oh God, yes. Is that a soy sauce fish?
Yep, and it's a soy sauce fish lamb.
Love it.
It is 3D printed, but some guy on
Oh,
Marketplace had them on.
there's an issue though.
What?
It's not what it's white. Well, it should be sort of half dark. It should be like a grey black sort of.
Well, obviously they have to empty the soy sauce out of it to put the lights in. God.
To be fair, that's
So
about the
I
right amount of soy sauce I use whenever I'm cooking. I'll be
yes.
honest.
Oh man.
I'm gonna
When I
love me
use
some soy sauce, brother.
but no, I saw it on Marketplace, and I was like, this thing is so dumb. And then I had a look, and it's 3D printed, and you can buy the file for $24.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
said to one of my good mates, Chris, I'm like, Chris, who does a lot of my 3D printing, like he was the one that did the little resin angry marine doors and
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, how much would this cost? He's like, well, I'd have to buy white filament, red filament, and black filament.
Yeah.
Um, it's probably going to be about $20. And I was like, that's not too bad. Plus 25 for the thing.
Yeah.
So it's
Plus
going to cost me
25 for the
45
file.
bucks all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. That's not
And then
bad.
obviously, but then I would have to try to also install the LED lights and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's about a tenner at least. And then this dude had it on Marketplace for $35.
Okay. All right then.
And I
Well.
was like, that is the most stupid thing. And I've just got like a little kind of chest of drawers
Mm,
sort of next to my desk now that's just going to have some displays and do some, when I do photos of like games and stuff I get, will be
yeah.
done there. And I was like, I need a lamp for that. And I saw it and I'm like, this is the stupidest thing ever. I'm in love. So I
It
bought
is
it.
daft,
And
but I love it. I do love it. I do love it.
it is 10 shades of stupid, but I
It
love it. And
is.
I cherish it. It rocked up and she's like, oh, you got a package today. I'm like, is it long? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, does it come in like a long box? She's like, yes. I'm like, do me a favor, just open it. She's like, what is it? I'm like, I'm not telling you, just open it. And she just rolls her eyes and she's like, how much was this? And I was like, $35. And she's like, you're an idiot. She's like, why couldn't you got like a cool, classy lamp or something like that? I'm like,
No,
I kind of
no.
love it.
Does she not understand boys yet? I mean, come on. When given options, we will
The
choose
thing that
something
I don't
daft.
understand, I can't get, if you can see that, it actually has like the recycled
It
logo. It has
does.
all the
I love
scales
it.
and stuff.
That's
Like
genius.
It's detailed as hell. The only thing I did ask if you could do a purple lid because whenever I go get sushi,
Okay.
I get the gluten-free soy sauce
Ah, right. Is the
just
gluten?
just because um I find it that it's actually better quality and it doesn't seem to
Okay.
it just seems to be a little bit better. But he's like, listen, I've
I'll
already
tell
got
you
a
now. I've never seen a purple one. If I'm going to be interested next time I go for sushi at the spot I go to, I'm gonna ask for one.
just ask them for gluten free because normally it's either purple or yellow the bottom the just the lid.
Okay.
So the one at Sushi Hub near where we get it is a purple lid,
Okay.
and I was just like, oh my god! But when I saw it, I'm like, it's even got the recycled, it's got all the scales, and they're all raised, so it actually feels like those sushi things, and I'm just
That's
like, oh
cool.
my god!
That's
So
really cool. All right.
that was the dumb piece of
You
stupid shit that I
dumb
did
piece of
this
shoe
week.
shit. Right. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get right into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the podcast. This is season 4. We're on to yes. Sorry, I've had a weekend. We are on season 4, episode 5, ladies and gentlemen, of the Dogs Down Under. Welcome. Please make sure you do like, share, subscribe. You can find us available on Spotify as well as YouTube to see our beautiful faces. And we are available on many other good podcast forums. Please make sure you do like, share, and comment. It obviously helps all the algorithms. Now,
It does.
this week we're going to get round to discussing possibly one of the sexiest Brits alive. Also, he is king of the nerds. I am classifying him as king of the nerds because he is.
Oh, I was going to say, I'm like, I don't think I'm actually British, but just there's some British in me.
He is king of the nerds. And for those of you who already worked it out, that is Sir Henry Cavill. He's not Sir,
Yes.
but he might as well be at this rate. But yes,
If he doesn't get knighted,
there has been
disappointed.
many a thing that has occurred recently, and it's like, right, we need to actually discuss this all together in a podcast because there's lots of information that's come out. It seems that since DC got rid of him, suddenly he's hot stuff on the market.
Yeah.
But anyway, before we get to that, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to catch up. Obviously, Dez has been buying random lampshades to fit into his game room,
naturally.
which is absolutely acceptable, and we will not tolerate any nonsense by anyone else saying
Drinking
it's not.
tradie beer because I did some work in the garden. I potted a whole heap of
absolutely
plants
fine.
and I did some things.
This
So now
week,
I'm
this
tradie.
weekend was the weekend of love, as we all know. With February 14th was on Friday, and which means that I didn't celebrate it at all. Well, no, we did, of course, because I was under instructions that we were not doing gifts. So, obviously, I knew the wife was going to break this rule, so I went and did. I went ahead because she was babysitting the night before. She was staying over for the night, so I was like, "Yep." So I got a bottle of thing and some jet plane. I just little small stuff, nothing big or showy. But of course, she got back while I was at work. She went, "Excuse me, what's this? What's this?" And I was like, "Well, I figured that you said it's Valentine's Day." She went, we said we weren't doing gifts." I went, "Yeah, but I already know you've probably broke the rule." She went, "Did you find it?" And I was like, I knew. So anyway, basically my entire plan is that I knew the wife would break the rule, and so I preemptively obviously broke the rule myself so I wouldn't get into trouble, because as we all know, when a woman tells you, ladies and gentlemen, that we are not doing this, means we are doing this, and I'm going to surprise your ass, and when you don't have something with me, I'm going to let you not forget it. That's the rule. Everybody knows it.
Totally is. Like, I feel like guys out there, just buy them a gift just in case.
Just even a card. Just do something small. Just because you're going to get it in the neck otherwise, right, boys? That's what we need to do. So anyway, I did a small gift, but the other part of the gift was that we did plan, because I did have to plan. We've gone away to a spa. We went away to a spa for the weekend. Well, not for the full weekend. But, we went and stayed over, went to the spa for the day, and then we stayed over for the night and we had another night out. Not as wild as crazy. It was going to go that way. It was going to go that way. I had to rein her in, I'll tell you now. Oh, no, she finally got her first big win on the pokies. All right?
Oh, nice.
Now, anyone who's been on the pokey machines understands that first big win, your adrenaline level spikes, you're up here, you're living on cloud nine. It's like, let's go again. Nope. Yanked her off those machines straight away.
Because that's how they get you. They're like, oh, sweet, I'll just do another one. How about no?
Well, I'll tell you, right, okay, so she gambled 20. $20.
Nice.
$146 she walked off with. Yeah.
Wow, that's kind of sick.
Can
I
I-
did that once.
I-
I did that once, right? I
Oh.
was we had just gone out, so we just finished, I think, our first year of TAFE, and we had just done this massive event where we'd done all these things, and then we went to Crown Casino,
Yeah.
literally because it was one of the guys' birthdays, so we're having a drink there, and then at one point, then I'm talking to a girl who then became my girlfriend, Mel, at the pokies, and I'm just like, yeah, and the guy's like, oh, you can't just sit at the pokey venue because the bar was so loud, like you couldn't hear each other think.
Yeah.
So we're sitting on one of the pokey tables, and they're like, mate, you can't do that until you think. So I put in $20 and hit a button, not realizing that this was a $1 machine, and that $20, I literally had 9 games. So I literally had probably 2 spins plus 2 single lines.
Yeah.
And then I hit hearts, and I end up walking away with about $500. So it ended up being a really good day. But
It
had no idea what happened. Couldn't figure it out, and it was just like
see,
a magical.
I am very lucky, okay, because I got rid of my pokey addiction when I was a teenager because I used to work in the pubs. So and this is back in the day where it was mechanical. There was none of this
Hashtag fruit machine.
Yeah, hashtag fruit machine. No, none of this fancy smart touchscreen technology. No, these were the reels. These were where you got nudges and you were like, "There's 3 coming up on that one. We want 3 on that and 1 on that one." You were that level of intense. All right. So the fact is, I got rid of my addiction when I was a teenager. So obviously, I gamble a bit more responsibly. I mean, it shocks me when I see some people who are throwing the amount of money into these machines these days. It's like, Jesus. But I think on the night I was down. Last night I was down $60 in total, sort of thing. I won a load back and then lost a load again and then won a load back, and I was like, overall I was $60 down. I was happy. I was happy to walk away. Especially I had to drag her off. God, because she was like, "Yeah, let's go. I want to gamble some more." It's like, "No, we're not gambling more. We're gonna calm. We're gonna go to another pub, and if you want to gamble there, you can, but you're only gambling 20."
Yeah.
Hashtag that didn't happen. She gambled more than 20 while I wasn't looking.
Cheeky little devil she
is. Cheeky little devil indeed. But yeah, so anyway, so we had a good night, and the spa. I sent Des some lovely photos while we were at the spa.
Yeah, man, it looked relaxing as hell. I was kind of jelly.
I tell you what,
I hope when I come to
absolute
New
bargain.
Zealand we could do that.
Absolutely. Oh, honestly, it was an absolute bargain. There were thermal pools. We got a free cocktail included. We had a grazing platter, which was. We expected something to share, and it was my own individual platter. I was like, "Oh Jesus, I'm not going to be able to eat this."
So what they actually sent it? They brought out like 2 grazing platters,
like
one
2
for
grazing
each
platters. And I'll tell you now, they were decent as well. When you kind of think it's part of a package, you're like, "Oh yeah, they'll be." It'll be.
Yeah, I'll cheap out on it.
Yeah, it won't be. It'll be all right. It's not going to be top quality. It's not going to be like if you ordered it from the main menu style. But honestly, it was top notch. And the cocktails. God, I tell you, I had a Moscow Mule. I've not had one of them in years. And when you have it, it was a semi-hot day. Vodka, lime juice, and a bit of ginger beer. I tell you what, that thing, I was like, oh.
Yeah, 100%.
It also had an amazing glass that I wanted to steal. And sadly, they clocked me moving before I got away with it. I was like, damn it. It was like this tiki head. It was this tiki head glass. And I was like, damn it, I want it.
At that point, you're just like, bro, can I just steal one of these?
I tried the second I moved away from the bar area, because the second you go that way, you're going towards the pools, and you have to have a plastic cup for health and safety reasons. So I was like, damn it! Because I was heading the way to get to the locker and drop it off. That was the plan, but it didn't work that way. They were on to me.
God damn it!
They were on to me immediately. So I was like, damn it! I'm not the first person to obviously try this. So anyway,
100%.
But overall, it was a fabulous day. We had a great. I'll tell you what, my massage that was included as well, 30 minutes. I thought she'd just do my back, but no, she did my lower back. She did the legs and my feet as well. And I've apparently discovered that apparently my right foot is more ticklish than the left. That's good information to know. Apparently.
Random, but we'll take it.
I was trying not to giggle. You know when someone's tickling you and you're not allowed to laugh.
Yeah.
It's like, Ellie was like, "What were you, mate?" I said she was tickling. She was rubbing my feet one at a time, and apparently I've discovered the right one is really ticklish. She was like, "Oh my god, is that what that noise was?" I went, "Yeah, it's me trying not to."
Somebody else said that to me. I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago. Somebody's like, "Oh yeah, I'm only ticklish on my left foot." I'm like, "What? How?" And better yet, how do you work that out? She's like, "Oh, just when my boyfriend tickled me once, and my left foot was really ticklish, but my right wasn't. And then when I moved my left foot and he was tickling my right foot, it wasn't ticklish. As soon as he touched my left foot, I started giggling again." I'm like, is that real?
Oh, honestly, right. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I have sensitive feet anyway, but sort of generally when people touch my feet, it's like no sort of thing. Or when I get a massage, generally they do them together. So I've never noticed. But the fact is that she's doing one by one, and the left one, I was like, oh yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, I'm fine. The second she started touching my right, I was like, don't laugh, don't laugh. Don't laugh. I was struggling, but I tell you what, she did the entire. I even got a scalp massage as well, sort of thing, and got the oil all through it. It was lovely. Absolutely fabulous day.
It's so weird.
Oh, it was great. Honestly, it was absolutely. And as I said, I sent photos to Dez, and then he said, "Oh," and then I got confused because he responded to me with hashtag not recording, hashtag hangover, and then I thought he meant he didn't want to record.
No. No, like this, like if I actually open this second beer, this is the most beer. This is the most.
Well, that's the reason why I commented saying, "Since when do you drink?"
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm like, no, I meant you idiot, because you did the same thing to me last week.
I just don't know what it was. I just found it really funny. It was cracking me up. I understand afterwards when I understood the context, but I just thought that you were responding saying, "Oh, I thought he was like, oh, I can't record. I'm going to be hungover." And I'm like, oh Jesus, he's having a night out. Even the wife was impressed you were going to have a night out.
No.
Yeah. So apart from that, it was all good. Got back today. Lots of driving. We went to a cheese barn and everything else on the way back. And yeah, just whew. So it's nice to sit down and enjoy a beer. That's what it is.
Mate. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Right. Anyway, shall we get on to Daddy Cavil?
Speaking of loves of our life, let's transition into the other one.
the other daddy of this channel that we absolutely adore and love. So
I was going to say we've got huge Jackman. We've got big Papa Reynolds. And we've got Sir Henry.
Yeah, Sir Henry / Daddy Cavil. Yes, we do love him. Bless him. So it happened.
This podcast is kind of becoming a bit homoerotic, and
it is ever so slightly. And you know what? We're already nailed in on this. So we're on season 4 already. We can't really back out at this point, can we?
Yeah, no, that's true.
So literally, I think we originally sent this. So it got announced on Facebook, and I think either I sent it to you or you sent it to me. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. And it was kind of a one-off bit of ditty information, like, oh, that's interesting. We might discuss it at some point, sort of thing.
And it was also because it hadn't officially been announced.
Yes.
So it was one of those ones that was a rumor, but the difference was how when you see sometimes it's like, oh, there's a rumor, there's going to be like John Cena is going to play the Invisible Man or something funny like that. Yeah. You're kind of like, this is a bit of a gag and nobody else is running with it. But I saw it about 6 or 7 times, and originally there was a little bit of confusion because it was around his 2004, 2006 audition tape got leaked, where he went for it prior to Daniel Craig getting it.
Correct.
So both Jordan and I went, let's hold off because we don't actually know if this is real or not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Big Daddy Cavil came through with like, let's do this.
So the big news that he released is the fact is he is going to be playing the next James Bond, which has caused a bit of outroar. Because, as you can imagine, the woke lot aren't happy. Because they said, in their mind, it should be either A, a person of coloured descent doing it, or B, it should be a woman. Which
I don't have a problem with it being a person of colour, because I think Idris Elba would be.
Oh no, trust me, I have championed Idris Elba before they got Daniel Craig on. I was like, you know what, Idris Elba would be a really good Bond back then. I was like, yes, get Idris Elba on it would look fantastic. But obviously they went with Daniel Craig. Fine, what it is, what it is, sort of thing. But don't get me wrong, I understand why. But the fact is that all the books were written from the point of a white. Obviously, we're talking about a generational gap as well. Let's be honest, right? Okay, we're talking about a huge generational gap. But the fact is, it's a man spy and all this jazz. Whereas generally at the time, all the women in these books are assassins, sort of thing. So it's very.
To be fair though, some of the women, when they haven't, like obviously the earlier Bonds, they were more just sex symbols.
Yes.
Some of the more recent women have been absolute badasses. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
absolutely.
some of them have been even just as good, if not better, characters than the men. So I'm like, you guys are getting really good.
No, they are.
That being said, though, I don't think we'll ever see a lot of pussy again.
Vanna hump a lot.
And stupid things like this. But
yes, no.
still,
I think the name. I think the name thing is gone. Much disappointment because he was always one of the great little giggles as a boy, and all that jazz. But so the fact is, he's been announced as the Bond. Now, when I first saw it, I was like, well, because I was aware that when Daniel Craig got announced, Henry Cavill was going for it. So I just thought it was an old bit of news anyway. But then I actually thought about it when obviously he did announce it. I was like, well, it makes sense. If he was in for the running back then, surely he still is. And in fact, he's better now because he's slightly older and he's got a bit more sort of, especially more acting pedigree, shall we say, to it.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it. I was like, he was probably a bit too new, a bit too fresh face. Where now he's proven that he can lead franchises and lead these things.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it. And at the end of the day, I've always said that Pierce Brosnan would always be my Bond because that's where I started. But that being said, there's definitely, like, if he is Bond, and even if he's half as good as I think he is, my Bond could be Henry Cavill and Pierce Brosnan. Like, I never really thought Daniel Craig was that.
No, right. I'll get this rant over now. Okay, this is. I need to have a rant. Okay, right. For a start off, I do not rate any single one of the Daniel Craig Bond movies. Okay, don't get me wrong. Are they an impressive bit of cinema? Yes, we'll happily agree that. Okay, are they in any way, shape, or form a decent Bond? No. Because the fact is, and you want to put me, the first thing that put me off was the first one, Casino Royale. That was awful, and the entire reason why is he gets a fancy car, and what happens? We got 5 seconds of footage, and it blows up. That's it. It was. I was so angry, and then I was like, great. Well, surely we got gadgets. No gadgets. I was like, did anyone read the books? Has anyone read a single book?
Casino Royale, the idea of Casino Royale was to wind it all the way back and be like the beginning of Bond before the gadgets, before all this. But the problem is too, though, is then it just becomes like a random, like it could have been the sequel to Johnny English. Like it just lost the nuance that is Bond. Yeah. And I mean, like, I think the best thing about Casino Royale was Halle Berry.
Oh yeah. No, it wasn't. Was she in that one?
I thought she was.
No, it wasn't Halle Berry. It was what's her name? Oh god, that's going to drive me up the wall.
Oh no, she was in Die Another Day, Halle Berry.
That's Die Another Day. That's with Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, sorry.
It was Eva Green. Green.
Okay.
Yes, Eva Green in it was great, and obviously there was that little arc going through, and that went through to the next movie as well, ever so slightly. So I get what they were trying to do, but the fact is like, up until that point, there was a standard pattern of James Bond movie, which is you got James Bond, whoever's playing him, which is fine. Apart from George Lazenby, we'll ignore him. All right, for start off, he wasn't included. There's a reason why he was only ever in one Bond, right? For a start off, and we can all agree with that. Okay. But there's a standard rule. So you have James Bond. He's played by whoever. You have two. He has cool gadgets that are a bit weird and wacky. Ever so slightly. Like an exploding, like a pen that's a grenade. How weird. Yeah. Oh, he has a watch that has a laser built in it. Fabulous. It's odd shit like that we like. And 3, there's a cool car that's kitted out and it can go underwater or it's bulletproof shield or something.
It's going to do something ridiculous.
It's going to do something ridiculous, and it doesn't matter what it is. It's just a bit stupid, but it's cool, all right? And we all want the car, okay? The fact is, Casino Royale came out. They had no gadgets. They had a car that looked awesome, and then they blew it up in five seconds in, which drew me up the wall. And then you just have Daniel Craig, who... Don't get me wrong, he was all right, but he was so... like stoic. It drove me up the wall, and I didn't like it. And it was
The
just like,
problem is though, is you want that suave, you want that
yeah,
sophisticated, you want that thing, and he just didn't have that.
mm,
He was just more like ex kind of military that's kind of gone into this role that hasn't figured out how to actually swoon and be like that. Like he didn't stand out in any way.
yeah.
Like he could have been any other spy.
Also, the other issue is obviously as you said, it was kind of meant to be a little bit of a reset, which is fine. Or prequel, or however you want to put it, would have been fine. But the problem is you had Dame Judi Dench playing as M, which she has been for all the Brosnan era. So
Yeah,
the
I
fact,
know.
which is the confusing thing, so it's like, oh, so he's the successor, but he's not being a successor. But it's kind of, it was like, I didn't like it. It's like, thank you.
And they didn't have Q, which was just weird as
Oh
well.
yeah, the fact that they introduced Q in like the second movie, and he's a bit of a weirdo. And the fact is that obviously he talks about his predecessor, which is obviously the original Q, from all the other movies, which was
Rest
cool.
in peace, man.
But R.I.P. But yeah, but the fact is that it's just like, it just didn't work in my opinion. But yeah, so yeah, I never liked any of that. Even though the fact is, obviously, for the second and the third, and did you do 4 movies in the end? I think it was in total.
Yeah, I think it was four.
Four.
There
So
was
they
some
brought
time
stuff
apart.
back, but to that point, the first one, it was like, nah, it's too late. Nah, you're off. Nah, you've wrecked it. I get you trying to do a darker Bond, but nah, brother, nah, yeah, you've ruined it. You've took.
What's weird too, though, is obviously I think it's one of the MGN Grand or one of the older ones do Bond, and they seem to keep running out of money. Then getting a little bit of money doing Bond. Bond does really well. They use it to run a few other things, and then they go broke. And then the problem is it does seem like, especially for Bond in the regular season, is it there seems to be like so you've got I think it was Skyfall,
Yeah.
Spectre, Quantum of Solace, and Casino Royale.
Yes.
But it was almost like a 15-year bloody thingo before they came out. So it's 2005, 2012, 2008, 2006. So it's
Yeah.
9 years for four Bond
Jesus.
films, which seems like that, but they seem to have a lot of money issues, and you're almost like, bro, can one of you just either sell it or do whatever?
Yeah. No, I know what you
And
mean. It did feel a bit long, realistically, between
yeah,
movies.
like where Pierce Brosnan's, I think, were banged out within probably about 5 years or something, like pretty quick.
Yeah.
But it just seems like they keep losing money, and you're like, bloody, just stop being idiots.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to look up. There we go. Titles. I'm just trying to work out. Oh God! Oh no! Oh no! No! IMDb does not like me doing that. apparently, there's lots of movies called James Bond.
Yeah, so no, so there's GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies, The World
Yeah.
Is Not Enough, and Die Another Day.
Yeah.
So that was 1995, 1997, 1999, 2002. So
Yeah.
every 2 years they kind of
Oh
got
yeah,
one with him.
which is good. That kind of works. Every 2 years, kind of works out realistically. That's all I
That
think.
being said, with Henry Cavill, like I don't know if you wanted to talk about this as well, but if he is Bond, he's already got a lot on his plate.
Yes, well, this is the reason why we're going to discuss this as a podcast episode, because obviously I'm sure we did mention it in a previous episode. I think it was in season 3. Is that Amazon announced that they were tying with Henry Cavill to create a Warhammer 40,000 TV show or a TV show / long movies, whatever they were going to do, using because Henry Cavill is a massive Warhammer 40k player. Apparently, he is Custodes. We're not going to hold that against him. It's fine. We're gonna. Everyone has wrongness. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
The fact is,
But you know what's weird too though? Like obviously we've heard all this stuff, but Amazon hasn't come out with anything. But at the moment on IMDb, he has 7 films upcoming.
does he?
So we've got Voltron, which I'm well excited for, which is currently in production. Highlander in pre-production. A
Yes.
a thing called the Rosie Project, which is like an unlucky in love university professor creates a elaborate questionnaire in an effort to find a wife and meet an unconventional woman who doesn't match any of his requirement but might be the perfect match for him. So it's based
Okay.
on a book. So we're going to have like this little romantic thing. We've got that Eleanor Holmes that was on Netflix, the
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
one of that.
Yeah.
we've got one called Broadsword, which is a Marine sergeant crash lands in World War II France. The only survivor of his mission, he teams up with a brave local girl as they journey across dangerous landscapes, dodging enemies. So that also has him and also Tom Cruise in it. So I'm like,
Ooh,
don't know what this one's like.
that could be
You
interesting.
have Squadron 42, which is we take a look at a role of a rookie in the UEE Naval Combat Pilots. So
Yeah,
it looks like it's almost like a cartoon-esque one, but they obviously use facial capture.
yeah.
It has like Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, Mark Strong, my little guy Grimley in it, Ben
Oh,
Mendelsohn.
it's
So
got
it's got all
Liam
these
Cumming
things,
in it as well.
Andy
Cool.
Serkis, like it's got all these big names,
Ooh.
but obviously they motion cap turn it into a cartoon. And then the last one is In the Grey, which revolves around two extraction specialists who have a designated who have to designate a route of escape from a senior female negotiator, which
Okay.
probably sounds like the weakest of him. But also released the other day is that there's a new Star Wars trilogy coming out, which is meant
Oh,
to take place 15 years after the Rise of the Skywalker, who has a young gentleman by the name of Sir Henry Cavill linked to it.
no.
So,
Eh.
according to my Time to Shine thing, Cavill has met with Lucas Films about potential role in the Star Wars galaxy. The rumor comes just over a week after it was announced that Lucasfilm will develop a Star Wars movie trilogy with Simon Kimber, the co-creator of Star Wars Rebels. He's tapped to write and produce it. This time it's unclear if Cavill is being eyed for a starring role in the new trilogy or one of the many projects currently in development.
Oh,
That being said, though, he did post where he's got like full scuba gear on, and he says, "When you loved being Superman, but secretly you want to be a bad guy in Star Wars too,"
well, it's been posted that potentially the role Cavill talks about in Lucasfilm is a villain role.
which would
Ooh.
be,
Which is not in his wheelhouse, but that'd be interesting. Well, he's done a bit of villainry, but but not like
yeah,
not the full Sith going down the Sith Lord route. But Jesus, that.
yeah. So yeah, but then
Hmm.
and then obviously you've also got what's his name? You've also got him in obviously the new 40K thing that also hasn't been
Yes.
announced.
Yep. So there's the new 40K thing. The other thing that got announced, this is the reason why we decided to do a podcast episode, is that he has been confirmed a major video game is having a live action adaptation. Red Dead Redemption is coming to live action, and Henry Cavill has been earmarked as Arthur Morgan, which I'll tell you now. I'm going to be interested on hearing his accent for a start off, number one, because that accent is a bit very niche, I have to say. Getting that down is going to be key. But the fact is, the second I heard it, I thought, great, it's Henry Cavill. Because one, Henry Cavill is a massive video game nerd. He loves lore. He loves authenticity as well. So actually, when I heard it, I thought, so basically, it's like having, oh, what was it? There was the prequel to Yellowstone. I forget what it's called now. I think it was 1883 or something
Yeah, I know
like
which one you're talking about.
something
Yeah,
like that. But I thought, oh, having that, but it's Red Dead Redemption. I was like, ooh, because I tell you what, I played Red Dead. I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2. I played Red Dead Redemption 1, and I got nearly 200% completing it. And I love that game. It
yeah.
was really addictive. The problem that I really didn't get on Red Dead Redemption 2 is because Assassin's Creed Black Flag came out at the same time, and that thing just, I'm suddenly an assassin, but I get to have a pirate ship. I was all over that. I was like,
It is hard. Like
hey,
it is hard when you
you can't.
suddenly get to become a pirate.
I get to pick up a pirate. I had a pirate ship and everything, and it was so cool. And I was like, I just never got around to Red Dead Redemption 2. And I was like, oh. But anyway,
I think I got it here somewhere. It might be, yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so the fact is that we got Henry Cavill. Suddenly, Henry Cavill has become a bit of a hot property, especially in the video game adaptation market.
What I don't understand though is I do think that he is great in this, but I do think that there's been like obviously we had The Witcher, which Witcher 4 obviously didn't have him, and there were rumors that he was hard to deal with some of the writers because he was like, no, this would never happen. They would
Correct.
do this instead.
Yep.
And like, don't get me wrong, like I get that as a writer, you're like, bro, this is mean. Let me write whatever. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like going, I'm going to make this adaptation of the book and taking something like, I don't know, Lord of the Rings, but then setting it into some weird sci-fi world where there's not actually any hobbits. They have laser guns and lightsabers and
Y-
stupid stuff like this where
Yeah.
you're like, bro, no, that would never happen. Like you already got rid of Tom Bombadil, which already broke my heart,
Yes.
and I'm like, still,
To be fair,
you still made a good movie.
Tom Bombadil needed to be removed because there is a lot. He talks a far lot in the books.
To be fair though, there probably could be a Tom Bombadil movie where you just slot it in there, and it could be an hour and a half of
Well,
just Tom Bombadil
yeah,
singing and dancing and just being like Mary.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, the fact is that we got to see finally in the Lord of the Rings thing. You get to see him in the Rings of Power. I think it's the
Oh, do
second.
you?
Yes, he actually features because there's actually a dark wizard. There's a wizard that turns slightly dark, and everyone thought it was Gandalf, but it's not Gandalf. It's someone else. Sort of thing. It's not one of the blues. It's actually not one of the wizards because there's only 5 wizards in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Yes, because I'm a nerd and I know that. There's the brown, there's the 2 blues, Gandalf the Grey, and Saruman the White. So I think
And then
yes,
Gandalf became the White, and Saruman just got murdered. So it's
yeah,
like,
pretty much.
suck it.
Yes, but anyway, yeah. Sorry, apologies. I am a nerd. I can't help it. You know,
It happens.
you got to know this stuff. Got to know this stuff, people.
I must say though, like it looks like looking at this, right? So Into the Grey, which is actually a Guy Ritchie film, I just found out, so which means it's probably going to be pretty epic.
Oh God.
Yeah, is slated in post production for 2025. Squadron 42 is in post production, which is meant to be 2026. But obviously, being a
Okay.
very animated heavy thing, I reckon that he's probably already filmed 90% of that, if not all of that. And now they're just going back and doing all that. Broadsword's in pre production. Eleanor Holmes is in pre production, which Cherish has watched and reckon they're actually fantastic films
I haven't
with
watched one yet.
Millie Bobby
I
Brown
have been
and him.
told is good, but I haven't watched one yet. So,
Yeah, the Rosie Project's pre-production, Highlander's in pre-production, and then Voltron's in production currently. So which means
okay.
he's currently filming that. And from memory, I think it's rumored that he's filming it in Brisbane.
Oh.
Don't quote me on that, but I believe that it's in Brisbane. But like, for example, like that's 7 films, 2 of them in post-production. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 that are in pre-production,
Yeah.
which means that you had Star Wars and a James Bond. He could have 6 currently in
Jesus.
pre-production. Like as it is, like I feel like this guy has probably got solid work set out to him for at least another 4 or
Is
5
Henry
years
Cavill
before
becoming the
anything.
new Dwayne the Rock Johnson, where he's just in everything? Is
But I
that?
think he can act. There's a difference.
There is no. The fact is he can act. Let's be honest. Yes.
Yeah.
No. The fact is, yeah, we're not going to complain because the Henry Cavill does have talent for a start off. Apart from being the big muscly guy, which
Mind you though, I didn't mind some of the Rock movies. My problem is with his latest ones now is it's no longer like, so for example, Henry Cavill plays that British soldier in the that gentleman one, the other Guy Ritchie one. You're like,
the Ministry of Ungentlemanly
yeah,
the
that one.
Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. There we go. Jesus.
Yes. But then also he plays like the guy, he plays The Witcher, and he has this thing. Oh, so you're like, don't get me wrong, this is Gandalf being played by things. Well, with The Rock, it's just The Rock in this movie, where there doesn't seem like, and don't get me wrong, like I love The Rock for everything he does for people, for everything he does to his fans, all the things he comes out with. Can't fault the man.
Yes.
That being said, though, is there does just seem like there's this kind of, it's
Oh
just The Rock. Like there's no real character development. There's not that. It's just The Rock.
no.
And you're like,
Let's be honest.
why?
The fact is, The Rock is just a big meathead. Realistically, he's big, he's muscly, he's intimidating. He is just we need a big, strong guy to portray this character. Let's get The Rock. Yeah, we'll get The Rock. It's just that. It kind of feels like, and he gets slotted in everywhere. And honestly, I'm sick of seeing him on fucking TV because he's in every other movie in some way. Which, and the fact is, like over Christmas, what's the movie I watched over Christmas?
Oh, Red
Red
One.
One. Yeah, he's in that, and it's like, why is he in this? It's like, couldn't they put anyone else in this movie? Surely there's a list they could have gone through before getting to The Rock, of all things.
I don't know. Like I understand like the roles that he plays. Like I kind of get it, but you're also just like really, bro. Like even as Black Adam, it didn't feel like Black Adam, and that was I think a lot of people's, including mine, biggest issue with Black Adam is that it didn't feel like this is a character called Black Adam. It just felt like The Rock as a superhero.
Yeah, the problem I have with the Black Adam movie is, of course, if you compare, right, obviously we're comparing Marvel to DC, okay? This is an immediate comparison before anyone comes at me. The problem is that, obviously, I've watched Moon Knight, especially with the wife, and if you watch Moon Knight do it really well with the Egyptian
Is it
thing.
good? I haven't actually seen it.
It's hard to say, right, is it good overall in terms of the MCU? No. But if you have any sort of inkling of knowledge, if you have a passion for Egyptian mythology and all this jazz,
Yes.
which I do, because I was British educated, and of course we had to study it when I was a kid. So of course I love Egyptian culture and mythology and all that jazz. So the fact is that watching it, I personally enjoyed it, sort of thing. It's not great, but it's like, oh, it's quite cool.
Because like a few people have said, oh, it's actually a lot of fun, and I'm like, okay, well, that's what we want it to be.
Yeah, the way they've done it is beautiful, especially in comparison to, because obviously, if anyone has read any of the Moon Knight comics, you realize how unhinged he is. Sort of thing, like he doesn't have superhero moves, like Thor will call down the lightning or whatever, or they do thing and then maybe announce the move. He does. Throw a dagger, bitch. He does some of the randomest words, and it's just.
It does kind of sound like Deadpool.
Yeah,
in a way,
it is kind of Deadpool. But the fact is that you do realize he is a schizophrenic, and he is each of the different variants of Moon Knight are a different personality from him. So, because you have his base form, and then you have Mr. Knight, who's the guy in the suit, and then you have full Moon Knight, who's like the full in charge, and he's dark as sin, sort of thing. So yeah, it's just very different. But I just love it. But yeah, so the fact that I did enjoy Black Adam, but it's just, there was just some things didn't work in my opinion for Black Adam.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And then the fact is that of course it's The Rock playing him, and I was like,
the weird thing is, I liked so much about Black Adam in regards to obviously Dr. Fate, Hawkman, all those things were so great.
Yeah.
But then I do feel like the Black Adam element of Black Adam just kind of felt a bit blah.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It was the characters they brought in as the JLA were really good. They're very nice characters. We like those characters. But the fact is like, really, you're going to pit these guys up against Black Adam? Because if anyone has any inkling of who Black Adam is, you're like, why are you sending these guys off to die? It's like, seriously, it's like you might as well have just sent in the Suicide Squad for no reason.
But I think the problem was the whole idea about it was they weren't sure how powerful this guy was. Obviously, they had Fate, they had Hawkman, but they needed a couple other backups, and these guys were young agents that they wanted to think.
Yeah.
Being that they didn't know quite how powerful he was or quite how deadly he was, or how willing he was just to murder people's souls. I think they kind of went, oh, we'll send these guys in and see what happens.
Yeah, but at the same time, you end up having, especially because obviously Henry Cavill does appear in this movie at the very fucking end in the bloody crate scene, and it's just like, oh, seriously, it's like you've had a wasted opportunity. The fact is, you were gonna get Henry Cavill back anyway. It's not like Shazam where they teased him, These actually, you got to saw Henry Cavill on screen talking with Black Adam, and you're like, seriously, we couldn't have had him like turn up to save the day at the very end, possibly, or so. Like,
I guess the idea was they wanted him to show that turn, and I'm like, I didn't even hate the story of Black Adam. I just hate how it was done. Like, I just felt like it was just a bit blah, because I felt like it's like you've got this guy that just feels like it's The Rock, and you're just giving him superpowers almost.
Pretty much, yeah. Although,
just,
can we both agree that Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate was actually spectacular?
100%,
realistically,
100%,
absolutely fantastic. We did.
I think as an actor, as a person,
yes,
I can never say a bad thing about
Also, Aldous Hodge played Hawkman, and I thought he did that very well. Although, because the problem is I've read comics, is that I prefer Hawkman, the guy who thinks that he is a reincarnation and he's not the fact that he is an alien. And I like the guy who believes that he thinks he's a reincarnation. I prefer that version of Hawkman. But I thought it was very good. Also, the fact is, Cyclone. I actually had to look up who she was.
I must say though, I loved her. I thought she was fantastic. It wasn't what I expected, and to be fair, I think the whole thing was I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But I thought she was fantastic. I thought even having Adam Smasher and obviously with Fonzie as the original Adam Smasher was
Yes.
also fantastic. But
Absolutely.
it was nice to see a few new characters that may not have been the big ones or that were almost like the ones that were going to come up, like that next generation.
Yeah.
And just see what happens. So yeah, there was a lot of things there that I did like, but you just kind of also like there was a few things that I'm just like,
Yeah, but then
Just
sadly, it's obviously they've all gone to die now. Now that DC have shut everything down, but now James Gunn's got it back. Well, I'm very interested to see what he does with it. Right. Anyway,
after watching Creature Commandos, I must say DC has some, and even seeing the first trailer of Superman, where he actually looks like he has got the crap kicked out of him, and which is as if anyone's listened to the podcast, you know that one of our biggest thing was that he just felt so powerful that nothing could hurt him. That it seemed kind of pointless. Like it's like, oh look, here's this thing, and as soon as Superman rocks up, it's all over because it doesn't really matter. And with this one, at least you kind of feel like, okay, so they're trying to make him a little bit more believable and a little bit more likable, and that he isn't the be all and end all, and that there is a chance that we may actually get that and add a human element to it, which is obviously what I felt like the DC was missing prior to that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure anyone can go back to any of the podcasts where I've mentioned Superman and they will hear me rant that I don't like Superman as a superhero. The fact is, he's invulnerable apart from this weird rock from his home planet.
Which somehow blow up, but somehow we always seem to find.
Which suddenly somehow has landed here. And then the fact is, you've also got and he's also weak to magic. Oh, right, okay. Two very common everyday items. Oh no, but let's be honest though. But the kryptonite can also change and it's different colors, which also affect him in very different ways. Apart from the pink one, which we do not mention because apparently that makes him turn gay, and we're not allowed to mention that anymore.
Oh really?
Yes. There's one.
I knew about the different colors.
There's one specific type of kryptonite that turns Superman gay, and I think one comic wrote it. That was it. It's never been seen since.
Wow. That is.
Yeah.
Like it could have been like almost like a Cupid-esque thing where he just gets. Like, he just kind of gets really romantic with whoever has it. But even then, I'm like, that's kind of like, wow, that is... Yeah, that was probably definitely released in the 50s or 60s.
Hang on, where is it? Let's see. The Pink Kryptonite debuted in 2003 Supergirl Volume 4.
2003?
During the many happy returns, it only made one appearance in the Superman game.
I guess in fairness, DC is probably like, let's try to include... Obviously, our LGBTQ movement, and just went. This is a way of doing it.
And apparently, it requires a magic rock to do it. Yes, I know.
I'm like, this is not. But my question is if Krypton blew up, how the freaking hell did we have rocks to get here?
Believe you me, this is where the storyline falls apart. The fact is that all these asteroids have been fallen to Earth with all these specific types of kryptonite, and nobody's known years. It's ridiculous.
And then it's like this one got destroyed. Like Superman, will destroy it, or he'll team up with the Justice League, and the Justice League will help destroy it. And then 2 episodes later, it's like, we've got more kryptonite. Where are you finding all this stuff? It's not. Is there a black market for kryptonite where you can just go, hey bro, you got a kilo? Oh, hang on, I'll just make some. Like, what the hell? Where is this coming from?
Yeah, no, it cracks me up. But yeah, anyway. So anyway, right.
I also like the magic one. I love the fact that Penn and Teller can kill Superman.
Yes, Penn and Teller can kill
Superman.
Superman.
That blows my mind.
Yes, of course they could. Anyway, let's get back to James Bond, and I have an ultimate question for you. Right, out of all the James Bond movies, what's your immediate favorite? Like, what's your go-to? Right, so you got the entire thing. You only get to watch one immediately. Which one are you choosing?
Oh.
And there's only one right answer to this.
my thing, and it's going to sound bad, was GoldenEye.
That is the correct. That's the correct answer.
Pierce Brosnan. Was it Pierce Brosnan's first?
Yes, that was Pierce Brosnan's debut in 1995. Yes,
I saw that at the movies. I think with my dad at the time, And I just remember falling in love with it. I'm just like, oh my God. And then obviously the 64 game came out. You're like, fantastic.
Oh God, yes, yes.
That's
Ah,
still so hard. Friggin'
I
the number of times I reckon controllers got thrown or whatever because of GoldenEye is unbelievable.
yeah,
But
it's definitely Goldeneye. The only other immediate one that I loved, and it's corny, and it really is Moonraker. So 1970
oh
Moonraker.
yes,
Yeah, I
with
don't
a,
know, I just love it. It's stupid, but I just really love it. But there's so
to be
many.
fair though, you've got James Bond, obviously played by
Yeah.
Roger Moore, who, to be fair, is up there as probably one of the best Bonds as well. You've
Yes.
got Jaws. You've
Yes.
also got the young doctor herself, Holly Goodhead, or
Oh.
Doctor Goodhead. And I'm just like, it is so
Yep.
horrible, and it's just weird, like just this mid-air theft of a space shuttle, and you're just like and I'm just like, what? Like this, I feel like that movie was the James Bond version of Jumping the Shark.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, to be fair, I mean, A License to Kill wasn't bad, but
Yes,
I don't know what it is. If I ever think back to an older Bond movie than past GoldenEye, my
yeah.
brain always immediately goes to Moonraker, and I just remember Moonraker. It was just so weird and
Because
cool.
License to Kill, yeah, I was going to say with Timothy Dalton,
Yes,
another great Bond, was fantastic.
but
But yeah,
yeah,
it is weird though, because you look at like obviously Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre, and you're just like, meh.
it's just
I
they
know, I know, No Time to Die actually. So he's actually done five.
yeah, he's done. I'll tell you one thing now. I'll admit I've not even watched the last one. I probably should. I probably should go watch the last one because I
I'm
have
just trying to think
seen.
which
I have
one it
seen all
is.
the other ones, so I probably should go watch the last one just so I can say I've watched them all at least. Sort of thing. But I have no actual motivation to go watch it at the moment.
Yeah,
Really do. But yeah, no. So yeah, so that is the big major news with Henry Cavill. But anyway, so I am actually excited to see what other projects is going to get announced for in terms of video games. Seems though now we're getting Red Dead Redemption live action.
seriously,
So
like he has really doubled down on like the nerd thing with Voltron. With this, obviously, we've also just recently, which I think was missed. They also just recently released set photos of the new He-Man film.
yes,
And they
yep.
and they didn't have Henry Cavill in it. I'm like, come on, man. All we need is him in a blonde hair, and because he has the
He did.
power of the nerds.
To be fair, I think everyone's slightly scared of a live action He Man because the last time we had a He Man live action, which was the movie, it was god awful.
What are you talking
It
about? Dolph
was.
Lundgren was fantastic, and it wasn't even called
No,
He-Man. It was just called Masters
it
of the
was called Masters
Universe.
of the Universe. It was terrible. You've got to admit, Skeletor
I,
is the most ridiculous looking thing
I,
on that.
I've watched that already. I watched that probably about 7 months ago, and it still brings me joy. But I must say though, one thing about this one, have you heard who Skeletor is in this one?
No.
Jared Leto.
Ooh. Oh. Okay.
That's
All right.
I feel like that's what anytime you say Jared Leto, you just gotta be like, I'm not sure about this. Like he does get into character. Like I didn't hate him in Morbius. I felt
No,
like
I did.
Morbius
I did.
wasn't,
I did not like him in Morbius. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah.
but I think the problem was the writing of Morbius wasn't great. And I think he did the best he could. I think even as the Joker, like as the Joker, he was very off-putting to a lot of people, and I'm just like, it's kind of cool, but I kind of also don't hate it. Like I just feel like he's a very polarizing character, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing for these bad guys.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Sorry. On the He-Man live action, right? Okay. For a start off, I'll give this some credit. They've put Idris Elba at Man at Arms. Right. Okay. Right.
yeah, it was sick. I
Okay.
did. I
Okay.
did like that.
We can agree with that. We can agree with that. Okay. They've got. They've got. They've got the mountain. The mountain. You know, I can't even say. You know, your
Yeah,
Hafo Bjornsson. They
bless
got.
you.
Yeah, they got him playing Goatman.
Oh, really? That is fantastic.
Of all the characters to get him to play. Oh my god, that's I'm sorry,
I don't even hate
that's
that.
oh no, come on. They have the entire spread of He-Man characters. There's hundreds of characters to play.
Yeah, and go
Goatman.
I must say though,
Oh
they
my
do have
lord.
what's her name? Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, wife as the sorceress. Who
No.
obviously oh
No,
really?
no. Oh, but we probably need to go into the drama around Blake Lively.
No,
She's.
not Blake Lively, the one from Deadpool. His wife in Deadpool, the one that's also
Oh,
in
right. Sorry, I thought
Fireplay, and I think she was
Marina
in like
Bracken. Yeah,
yeah,
Baccarin. Yeah.
yeah. She's stunning. She's a beautiful woman, and I actually love her as a sorceress
Ah,
because the sorceress is always beautiful but evil,
yes.
and I'm like,
Well, you wouldn't kick her out of bed, would you? Let's be honest. I mean, come on.
she would never get into my bed, bro. I'm a realist. I know that.
Hey, listen. If I'll happily get into her bed if she offers me. I'll tell you that right now.
As the old English saying is, I wouldn't kick her out of bed for eating crisps, which
Absolutely
still
not.
brings me so much joy every
Absolutely
time I
not.
hear
I would
that.
definitely
It
not
is the
kick her out
most
of the food,
stupid
Chris.
saying ever, and for some reason it brings me so much joy. I'm just like, it's such a random thing to be like, I would kick. I'm like, so you'd kick somebody out of bed for eating crisps? And it's
Yes.
like, yeah.
Yep.
And you're
Yep.
like, what?
No, you do. You do. That's you don't eat crisps in bed. Everyone knows that. Come on. Come on.
It's just a weird saying, but it still brings me
It
joy.
does. Right. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up right there because I have to edit this stuff. Anyway.
Oh, in that
So
case, then let's talk. We
no,
got
we're
heaps
not
to talk
talking.
about
Anyway,
now.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on this week's episode. Please make sure you do like, share, subscribe, and all the other goodness that you need to do. Please, I tell you what. Actually, I want to know in the comment section of favorite Bond movie and why. Okay. In fact, if you want to give your justification of what your first Bond movie was before you give the favorite answer, that's fine as well.
Yeah, I want to know your first Bond movie and your favorite, and if it's that horrid Australian actor one.
No, we don't. We for a start off, if you even pick him, just unsubscribe. All right, we don't need you here. I'll tell you that right now.
We don't need you.
We
kind of
don't need
people
you.
here.
If you like that movie, it was terrible. The fact is, he broke the one cardinal rule, which is you don't talk to the camera. You don't break the fourth wall.
It was weird to have James Bond and the fourth wall being broken. You're like, what
Fourth
the
wall,
hell?
fourth wall going. Oh, the other guy now had
Well,
this problem.
okay. The only way you can pick that one is
Yeah.
if you are. Is it John Lazenby, the actor?
George Lazenby.
Yeah. If you are him, if you are him, and you write him as your favorite, that is the only way you can write it. Otherwise, yeah, unsubscribe now. Just leave.
Right. Anyway, peace out, guys. Have a good week.
Layers.